Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Cosmonaut Comics. We are doing now The Hood, issue number 2 of 6 by Brian K. Vaughan and Kyle Hotz from Max Comics. Max Comics is was an imprint of Marvel Comics. Explicit content, it's more like more blood, I guess, and foul language. That's about it, nothing more than that. Interesting cover with the blood here and then the hood here. Yeah, looks great. So this is the main bad guy, I believe, in this story arc, and we are continuing the origin of the villain called the Hood. So without further ado, let's dive in and see what this is all about. So, if you want to know what's happened in the last issue, you can check out my video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, like my video, and leave a comment. Shameless plug here. Or you can just read this and, see what's happened in the last issue. I'll leave it up to you, but subscribing to my channel would be very nice. Thank you so much. Anyway, we are starting here at this, this guy who is some kind of a crime lord, I guess. And we have this interesting specimen standing before him, and he's calling himself Mosh. Mosh is a weird character. I'm skipping all that. He has also a very interesting physique, right? He is supposedly very strong, but he has very skinny legs and a tiny butt. Anyway, so he says that he's very strong. I mean, he asked what his powers are, right? And he thinks he's starting to get night vision too, but he says, do you know who I am? Of course, you're the Golem. You work for the Kingpin. But he says, no, that's wrong. My name is Dennis Golembuski. My grandfather didn't risk his life to come to a country where his last name would be butchered. And as for Wilson Fisk, he is no longer my employer. So he says, that is a part of the reason I asked my associate to bring you here today. So he says, hey, you want me to, replace your muscles because I'm better than him? Basically, that's what he's saying. No. It says that our organizations might benefit from him expanding its collaboration with men or women of your ilk. He's saying that with a certain tone. He says, what do you mean by that? He says, are you familiar with the Crane's liquor store in the Bronx? Well, it seems, he says, yeah, I robbed it 2 nights ago. He says, why? That establishment was paying for our protection. So he says, of course you could know that, but for, compensation, we ask 75% of your take. He says, what? 75, man. He says, I'm a free agent. I'm not going to pay you squat. So anyway, so basically threatening this guy. He says, so he's quoting Lion King. The circle of life, the process by which a society maintains balance and order. That some must perish in order for others to thrive. He says, you can kill me, Polak? He says, no, but my another new friend, Madame Rapier, can do it. And yeah, this is gonna happen. So he's learned his lesson, if you know what I mean. All right, moving on. And then we go to Parker Robbins, who is, I don't know, outside of this cousin's window called John King. John King was left his buddy in the last issue because he was scared. He says, hey, why you are in front of my house at my fire escape, 5:30 in the morning? He says, Jesus, John, are you dense? You don't have a fire escape. All right. He says, come on, let me in before the sun comes up, will you? You're a vampire? Okay, I like that. No, I just don't want anyone to see me like this. I got powers. Powers? You get doused with chemicals or hit by an asteroid? Okay, this guy cracks me up a little bit. Anyway, so hey, the boots that I took off from the demon thing, well, it let him walk through air, right? He says, you want to try it on? Well, no way, he says. Who knows what makes that shit work, Parker? Those things probably steal your soul or give you nut cancer. It's not very, you don't want to have this, right? It's not funny. Okay. anything. So he says, hey, then you probably won't mind letting me keep the other thing. He says, the other thing? Yeah. How do I look? Like the ghost of Christmas future. And so does it do? He says, as far as I know, nothing. So wait a second. If the stupid boots can make you fly, a goddamn cape should be something even better, right? Maybe it makes you bulletproof. So he says, well, I'm not willing to find out. Maybe it will let you communicate with animals. He says, oh, wait a minute. What's this? Well, what's it look like? He says, showing a bottle. I just got a few freaking beers when I got home. Big whoop. Can you blame me for needing a drink after the shit we saw last night? Of course I can blame you, John. Do you have any idea how much money I spent putting you through a program? So John is deflecting, right, and also blaming himself. And hey, be grateful that because of me, we got some great cash coming in because, well, the things that they did together, right? So because he got a lot of friends. So they got into an argument, and this John has fed up and punching him in the gut. But then this is happening. Hey, Parker, where do you go? Jeez, I destroyed him, he says. I like this image here. But Parker doesn't know what's really happening. And he says, you knocked the wind out of me, you asshole. Parker, I thought you were dead. What, are you drunk and high? But you disappeared like that Miss Fantastic word. I cannot say that on YouTube, right? All these things. I want to, but I can't because YouTube algorithms and all that such. It says, it must be that fucking bathrobe of yours. So, wait, it turns me invisible every time I get punched in the gut? How does that make any sense? So he wants to try it out. He says, no, we're not going to do that. So, since you knocked the wind out of me, it has to do something with breathing. So he's doing this. I vanish like Hoffa. So I can turn invisible as long as I hold my breath, huh? All right, a new power unlocked. It's a great title, by the way, or not. So the first thing he's going to do is go to the gym. Probably exactly what I would have done. So he says, the adventure begins. All right, and then we go to the feds, the FBI. So it seems that somebody, picked up the body of Mosh, who was in the dumpster, and got this genital stuff inside of one of his eye sockets. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. So he says, why do you care? In fact, it's not like it's your jurisdiction. So maybe he's being killed by the mafia or maybe Punisher or even Spider-Man, one of those creeps. He says, it is now. So his partner says, hey, what are you talking about? So we got a lot of training to do before we're ready to get back in the field. So it seems there is some kind of a law being passed on that if any crime committed by a masked suspect is now a federal offense and fair game for us. He says, what do you care? It's just all these rules are being passed along all the time. So the reason that he's doing that, because he's interested in, getting a villain or masked vigilante behind bars, because he talked to his 9-year-old nephew and asked if he wanted to work for the FBI like his uncle Victor someday. Kid looked like me, looked me right in the eye and says, F that, I want to be an Avenger. So that stinks, according to him. His partner's laughing. He said, you think that's funny? Come on, Victor. I know the Bureau isn't exactly cool, but 9 days out of 10, our accountant do more than the average American than the odd-damn capes do. So, but he says, Victor, costume crimes affect less than one of the population, but it's the thing 99% of Americans worry about the most. Basically, he wants to show the people that the FBI are not a bunch of losers, right? And that's all a waste of tax money. So he wants to, prove himself, making a change, right? Not sure if it's going to work, but he's, tried to, be a better role model for, people's taxpayers and maybe other people as well. Say, hey, you know what? FBI can be cool, right? We are begging, masked vigilantes and all that stuff. Probably it's going to be, the way of the dodo or the other way around. Meanwhile, we have Parky here try to rob our arms store, and he's getting shot at, but he's disappearing. And, he's going to King here, John. Is it John King or is it, wait a minute. John King, yes. To his nephew, he says, hey, how did it go? The guns, I mean, not the baby shit, because he has a baby on the way with his girlfriend. It's another part of the story. He says, I got 1,000 rounds of ammo in his bag and one in my effing leg. You got shot? Not really, the bullet just grazed my thigh. How? He says, well, he explains that he's not bulletproof, but he cannot, and also not becoming intangible, he can only become invisible. Anyway, so he says, hey, I got a surprise for you. Here. Oh, my God, she's beautiful, Park. Right, so he's getting a gun as a token of his appreciation. Ads. So they are standing here on the rooftop, and he says, hey, says John, I got a job for you, right, for all of us. He says, one of my sources was telling me about a big-ass score we might want to consider. The same source who told you about the hidden warehouse full of effing monsters? No, it isn't. He says, what is this all about? More weapons, electronics, better. Bloodstones. In fact, wait a minute. Bloodstones, like the hero or superhero Ulysses Bloodstone, or his daughter. Is his daughter called Eliza Bloodstone? Something around those names. Or maybe Demon Belasco Bloodstones. Well, John says, no. It's just another word for black market diamonds. There's a huge shipment of them coming into the Navy yards this weekend. Black market, so we're smuggling from smugglers? Sounds fun, right? Sounds risky. Yeah, but think about the take. Think about what you could do with it. Cars, a crib, girls. You can finally set your ma up with a decent hospital. Or maybe you could put on one of the rocks we steal on Sarah's finger and make an honest woman out of her. Come on, man. You're the one always looked up to the mask, right? You got superpowers now. The days of knocking over pawn shops and all-night diners are over. It's time to step up to the majors. Okay, that's cool. What also is cool that is Mr. Gollumbuski is now hiring supervillains, and he asked, hey, and before we begin, none of you are mutants, are you? So we have Constrictor, Jack-o'-lantern, and the Shocker here. All right. So he says the reason that I'm asking is because his daughter is homo superior. She liked to see me hire more genetically diverse employees. Oh man, the diversity hires. So Mr. Schultz, Herman Schultz, here's the Shocker, says, oh, I'm sorry. So Constrictor says, we are looking forward to work with you, sir. Delightful. You begin this Saturday. I need you free to protect the sensitive consignment I'm importing via sea freight. Like what, drugs? Bearer bonds? No. Bloodstones. Uh-oh. Leads us to the next issue, guys. So yeah, interesting. So we have street levels with, well, street hoodlums, I guess. Could be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this book, or are you more interested into the lore of the Hood or not? I'm interested in, so we're going to do the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching as always. See you next time. Bye-bye.